Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and today we have Emily Thompson with a super cute project. First, have you downloaded the Art Spirit app? That's all I want to know. Just say yes or no in the comments because I would love to see what you're doing with that. I kind of scroll through Brother's Instagram to see any new things that pop up, but they have a new group on Facebook now. It's a private group. I'll put a link here and we'll talk about that here shortly, but in the meantime, roll in, say hi, say where you're from, and guess what? The 1st of May, Brother has more exciting news for you. We're going to be back on Thursdays. You all begged for it. Brother said, okay. So now we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. So mark your calendar. I will be uploading all the live shows for May this afternoon. So you can go through and save the ones if you've got favorites or save them all, and you'll get notified on Facebook and YouTube. So, all right, it looks like we're here. You can hear us. Great to see you, Maria. And let's bring up Emily. Emily, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I was just trying to figure out how to post this to my page, but it doesn't look like I can do it. So I'll do that later to share the live show. But yes, I am so good and so glad to be here and excited to be sewing a fun project with the Art Spirit app today, using some of their awesome embroidery files. There's just so many cute ones on there, and I've been having a lot of fun playing around with those. So we're going to be doing that and making a quick and easy little sewing project. And I'll show you what we're going to make. Ooh. But I have these little, I'm trying to decide if they're baskets or trays. I'm not quite sure what to call them, but they're cute and little, and they have these fun little succulent embroidery inside of them. And those files are free on the Art Spirit app. And there's actually a third succulent file that we're going to be using today. So that is what we're going to be making. The actual sewing is really quick and easy. It'll take a few minutes to do the embroidery, but this is the project we're going to make. So I just do want to mention that I'm not 100% confident in my internet today. I keep getting texts that like, we're going to do service in your area. And then I'll get a text later, oh, we've postponed it. But it's been a little glitchy already this morning. So I really hope that it hangs in there and that we can finish this project and there won't be any major issues. But if I disappear or freeze weirdly, you'll know what is going on.
If you disappear, I'll tell jokes until you come back. But in the meantime, everybody's saying this is super, super cute project. So hopefully, fingers crossed. And Shirley, by the way, it's great to see you back. She's been down with pneumonia, and it's happy to see you back in the Brother house. And everybody's saying, thank you, Brother, for bringing the Thursdays back. So you get one more day of us.
Yes.
All right, Emily. So I'll let you take it away. And if you need anything, you holler.
Okay, sounds great. All right, so let's talk about the supplies needed to make this. So obviously, I have 2 layers of fabric. And now I have chosen to do 1 layer of this pleather vinyl. Actually, a friend recovered some stools and then passed me the extra. So I've been cutting away at this little roll that she gave me, which is really fun to just be reusing that. So I'm going to use that for 1 layer. And then I'm just using quilting cotton scrap for the other layer. I will say you can make this with 2 fabric layers, but you would want to include then a layer of interfacing, some stiff interfacing sandwiched between those 2 layers so that it has some structure. But with using the pleather, or if you use a vinyl, you really don't need it because you're going to have plenty of structure without that extra layer. And I didn't want to bother having more on there. So let me just show you how cute these are close up. But I love the succulent embroidery. It's so adorable. And then I just have this sort of green textured print on the outside, and then this is a blue pleather. So we're going to sew the 2 layers together, and then you just kind of tack the corners to create this little, I don't know, you could tray, dish, basket. You can maybe chime in and say, what would you actually call this? It's about 1 inch high and 3 inches wide, but it's perfect for like coins and keys and rings. I'm going to put one of these up by my my bathroom sink to like put my rings in when I'm washing, or earrings. There are just a lot of uses. And I think you could make it a little bit bigger, but I made these two exactly the same size. And today we're going to make the third one in the set the same size as well. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to cut your 2 layers of fabric, and I have cut these each 6.5 inches wide. So that will get you a tray, a basket, this size with the 6.5 inches, okay? And we are going to start with the embroidery and then put the rest of it together. So you also, this is a strange thing, but you also need a little square sticky that we will use later in the show. And I'll keep you guessing as to how we're going to use this in our project. All right, so to hoop the fabric, we'll start with that before we take a look at the embroidery design. I have my 5x7 hoop that goes on the SE2000, which is what I'm going to be using today for the Art Spirit app. You need any machine that is Wi-Fi enabled to be able to connect to the app. And then from there, you'll be able to easily, so easily send the designs over to your machine and embroider them. I can't even believe how easy it is. Okay, I see it's just hard. I can't get my head and the screen down here in it, but you can see that I have the bottom part of my hoop. I'm putting the shiny paper side up. This is sticky stabilizer, and I'm using this to keep that vinyl in place and not hoop the vinyl. Okay, so I'm first going to hoop my stabilizer. And it's a little bit crunchy, and you have to kind of like push it in because it is stiff, right? It's a piece of interfacing and kind of a piece of like wax paper. So it does take a little bit of oomph to get it in there. But once it's in, it hoops really easy and lays nice and flat. Okay, so then we're going to cut away the paper to expose the sticky stabilizer underneath. And I always call it sticky stabilizer. I think there's a more official name. I don't know if it's adhesive or I have to look at the packaging. But it's from Brother. It comes in a big roll. Here's my roll. It's awesome, and I use it all the time. Okay. So I've just sort of scored with these sharp little scissor points the paper. And then I usually try to like grab and lift a corner and pull that paper off. The goal is to not also cut through the interfacing. Okay. Okay, so now we have this. It's sticky. Okay.
Hey, Emily.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Is that tear away or cut away? Probably doesn't really matter for this project, but
I think it's tear away. I think I've torn it away after. Yeah.
Okay, there you go, Michelle. Michelle, though, for something like this, you could use either. I'm pretty sure.
Because it's going to be in between here, and you could actually leave, like it wouldn't even matter if you left some of the interfacing or some of the stabilizer in there.
Yeah. Thanks, Emily.
Yes. Sure. Okay. So I want to put my design, you can see here how I tried to put it at a little bit of an angle, and I actually didn't do a great job because the point is here and the tip of the succulent is over here. So actually when I was thinking about this today, I'm going to hoop my fabric on the diagonal so that when but I need to find the center first. So that when I am centering the embroidery design, it should be really easy to, if I find the center, then it should be up and down nicely rather than trying to find the angle. So I'm going to try that today. All right. So I want to find the center of this so I can make sure the design is nice in the middle. So you can, fold it this way, and then put your pin in the middle. Then of course I'm going to bring it around to the front side. Okay, so we'll see if this is a good way to find the center. I'm just going to leave it kind of sticking out like this because I will remove it before we begin the embroidery. All right, so the diagonal is pretty easy to find on here. And this adhesive stabilizer is pretty strong, but if you're unsure about it, sometimes I'll put like a pin on one of the far edges to really make sure that it holds it in place. But I'm not worried about this vinyl with the backing and how sticky it is. It's actually a good mix. Sometimes it's not quite as good of a combination. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the embroidery file off Artspira, and let me show you just how easy that is to do. So I have my phone here, and I keep saying I want to download Artspira on my iPad so that I can have a bigger screen, but I haven't done that yet. So hopefully it will open up. So we're going to open up the Artspira app. Okay. And then you can see, I know it's not perfect, but there's embroidery designs, cutting designs, projects, design templates. A lot of you I know have gone in here and like played around a little bit. So it just has great layout with the weekly magazines, the new embroidery things, the cutting files, designs, like so many options. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to embroidery designs, and then I'm going to scroll over here to flowers and plants because they're so cute. And these are the two that I already used. Okay, you can see that. And I'm going to make this one today. All right, so when I open it up, let me see here. I don't know.
You can see it pretty good, Emily. It's just like a little
okay.
light. Yeah.
I know it's a little bit light. I was not sure if I can make it here. Let me see if I can just.
Oh, almost. It was like almost like perfect, and then it went too dark. Let's see.
Okay. It's because the screen went dark. Okay.
There you go.
That's a little bit better. All right. So it tells you like the name of it. It tells you the size of it. It tells you the embroidery time, the stitches, and then the threads. So this one only needs 3 different colors. And then you push create. So we're going to do that. Okay. Now here are your registered machines. And if you had more than one registered embroidery machine, you could choose between the two. So sometimes, or, probably in the future, when those of us who have several machines will have multiple Wi-Fi machines, we can just go through and choose that. Okay. So I'm going to choose the transfer button. Okay. Transfer is complete. So easy. Okay. So now let me show you where that appears on your sewing machine. All right. So, Angela, if you want to take me out for a second, I'm going to switch over to the other camera.
Sure. While you're doing that, I'll answer a few questions. Vicky wants to know, will the Artspira designs ever expire? That I can't tell you. I just know they have new stuff each month, and I don't know if they're going to rotate them. I don't know. I don't know, but what I would suggest.
As far as I know, Angela, they had said that like because they're going to be offering more of a subscription, the ones that are free will probably always be free.
Okay,
so,
sounds good. Well, we don't know. We can't answer that 100%, but what I would suggest, Vicki, is I would go in and grab your free design each month.
Yeah.
And save them to your machine. That would be the way to do it. And then, you have it. And then I see somebody else asking, do you have to have an Artspira app for this? Well, if you have a fabulous brother embroidery machine that does not have Wi-Fi, you can still follow along and just choose a cool design in your machine. How's that?
Yes. Yes. So obviously you could do this project with any fun embroidery design. This does not have to be this particular one. I'm just showcasing this, but obviously any flower or even like an initial would be really awesome to do with this project. Okay, so let's wake this machine up, and actually I want to go back to the home screen. Okay, so from here we can find that file that I just transferred by clicking the pocket. Oh, but now it's not. Where's my other? Oh, okay. So the Wi-Fi just turned on, just turned blue, I guess because it was sleeping, wasn't connected. So do make sure your Wi-Fi is connected. Then hit the pocket. Where's the pocket button? Oh, you know what? I don't have the embroidery unit connected. I bet that's it. Okay. So still getting used to this machine, I guess. All right. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to remove this little tray. Okay. And then we're going to add on
Your internet's going just a little wonky, Emily. I'm just going to take you out just for 1 sec to see if it clears up.
Okay.
Just a little fuzzy there. Hey, Nancy, if you're leaving, yeah, you can come back and watch this. You're on Facebook. Just share this to your Facebook. You can back and watch anytime. All right, Emily, let me see if you're back okay. No, you're like super frozen blurred.
It looks so clear on my screen, but I know I'm not seeing the official.
Yeah, so everyone watching, just leave a quick comment. If it's clear, we'll keep rolling.
The other camera?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like your hand's frozen, unless you're just sitting like that.
Well, it's not moving. I'm moving my hand.
Now you're moving. And let me see, it's clearing up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Well, so we're going to snap this on. Okay. And then, so now I think this will solve the problem that was on my screen with not seeing that. I don't know. Again, I have not used this machine enough to know like all the ins and outs like I have on some of the other ones. It's like, you know, a new baby, you got to get used to it here. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, so now remove the embroidery frame. Oh, there's no embroidery frame in there. Okay, it's got to do its little thing, move around. And all right, so now we have the pocket again. However, the Wi-Fi is not lit it up. There it is. Ah, okay, there's the buttons I was looking for. I was so confused. Yes. So we have the machine pocket. You can save things on the machine. You have your USB. You can get things for. You have a Wi-Fi direct, but I'm not be, I think, transferring still from your like computer software. For our Spirit, always looking for the cloud and the pocket. So that's the combination that you're looking for on our Spirit. My machine is connected to the internet, of course.
You know what, Emily, you're frozen. You're frozen again. I don't know what it's like. It all of a sudden just like Martians went into you.
Can you hear me? No.
It's like all garbled. Do you want to just log out and log back in real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do that. Zena, I thought it was just me. I was like, who is that talking to there? All right, so let's get her out and we'll let her log back in. Sorry about that, but she said that they keep sending text messages that are going to be working in her area. You know, they should know better. Don't do this during a brother show. So let me see if I can answer some of your other questions here. Oh, Julie, you're looking on the app. You're going to do the leaf with the ladybugs. That'll be cute. Sally, can the Art Spira app be used on a laptop so I can connect it to my sewing machine and transfer it? The Art Spira is specifically on your phone or tablet, and you can transfer it to a machine with Wi-Fi. And there's a ton of information on this too. Maybe Brother Social, if you're on here, if you could leave a link to all the information for Art Spira. All right, let's see if we got you back.
Okay, we did. I don't know if it's going to be blurry, but and some of that is this camera focusing, but can you see if I do that it's now on my screen? So it has transferred and there is the little design that we said we wanted from the app. So you just go ahead and select it, then you're going to set it. And it's a little bit bigger than I want. So for all of these designs, you can't shrink them too much, but you can shrink them like a couple millimeters. So I went ahead and did that to make more space on there. And then I think we're good to go. We'll move it in a minute as we see where it needs to be on the hoop. So now I'm going to, let's see, move this carefully. Okay. And move this machine over a little bit so we can, oh, buddy, don't be a good focuser. Okay, so I need to also change the foot on my machine. So I didn't do that yet. So it is, you know, fairly easy to transfer between the embroidery file or the embroidery unit and the sewing on these combo machines, but you do have to change the foot. So I'm going to take off this one And I'm going to put on this one. Screw that on nice and tight. And then I can put the hoop on. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I like hoop the frame, and then, oh, I don't even have this foot on. It's way harder to do before you do that. So I'm going to slide this under, and then, okay, my little pin, my centering pin there is getting in the way, and push that. Okay, so now that is locked and loaded. Try to get it to focus nicely. And I want to move my design so that the center, right? We talked about, we have that nice pin in there, which is the center of the fabric. And it's really easy. I'm just pushing those arrow buttons here on the screen. And you can kind of see a little bit up in the corner, the arrow buttons left, right, up, down, until the needle is directly over the pin. And where the needle is at this point is where the center of the design will be. And so I know that that will all be ready to go. All right, so I'm going to hit embroider, and it looks like the light green is the first color. So I'm going to go ahead and take that and load it up. I just have a regular embroidery needle on this machine right now. And I think the last time I did the embroidery, that's what I use. I don't think I had to use anything super strong. But we'll just make sure if we have trouble with the thread breaking or issues, then we might have to figure that out later. But okay, so I took the pin out because it's centered. It's ready to embroider. As soon as I lower the presser foot, the light is going to turn green. And now we can go ahead and push start. Okay, so of course, now we can have a little chat because this is going to take a few minutes to embroider here. But you can see it'll do the outline, then it'll fill it in.
But it's fun to watch, though, I must say. All right, let's see. What questions do you have for Emily as you're going? So, Emily, what machine are you on one more time? Somebody just asked.
The SE2000. And actually, my thread just broke. So I'm going to put in a fresh embroidery needle just to make sure that we don't, nothing worse than like the embroidery needle constantly breaking. I mean, the thread constantly breaking. Although I do think it got caught around this. Ugh, I hate these spools. I really dislike these spools. I mean, but I am going to, while we're paused, I am just going to quick change this needle. This is not a brand new one. It's been in here for another project, and I might as well just change it so that we're starting fresh.
Yeah, and you know what? You're using vinyl, and for those watching
Yeah.
that say, you know, what needle should I use for vinyl? What needle do you use? Anything special, Emily?
I'm not. I just have, I'll show you what I have here in a minute. I mean, I obviously have just been using, what did I just take that out of? What? It's just a gold embroidery needle. Wait, where the camera is. And it's a 9014. So it is a little bit thicker. I mean, a little bit, heavier duty.
Yeah.
But
and that's the size I would use too. I mean, personal preference, just because you can get a really nice stitch with that. It's a little thicker to go with that vinyl, but.
Okay, so let's try this again.
Oh yeah, Diane, you like your thread stand in place of the spool bar? Yeah, this machine doesn't come with that, but you could get a thread stand on its own and put next to it. That would be
absolutely okay. Now, when my thread breaks, I always like to back up like 10 stitches just to make sure that I cover where, because sometimes it starts to get a little stretched out before it breaks. So I am just on the screen going back 10 stitches, and then we're going to start this again. I've turned the spool around because I know sometimes putting it in backwards, it comes off better, but I don't love when it gets like caught on itself and then it breaks, which was also the problem. So I don't know if it was a needle issue or the thread issue, but we're going to take care of both right now so that hopefully, hopefully we don't have any major issues again. All right, I see a question about the embroidery machine having a 4x4 or a 5x7. So this machine just came with the 5x7 hoop. It only came with a single hoop, but obviously you can do small 4x4 designs in the bigger hoop, but it doesn't have the smaller hoop. It is the little, like, you know, the button clasp attachment. So I'm guessing if you did have a smaller hoop, which I already do from a different machine, that it would probably fit on here for smaller designs or smaller pieces of fabric that you wanted to hoop into a smaller, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tried it.
I see another question rolling in about Wi-Fi. You can't seem to have your app connect to your machine. So one thing, and this is something that I've had to do a couple times, I don't know about your Wi-Fi, but I have two. It's like a Wi-Fi with a number and then a Wi-Fi with an EXT, which is a different extension.
Okay.
They have to be on the same network or they won't recognize each other. So check that first.
Yes, absolutely. If you do have multiple Wi-Fis in your home or business or wherever you are, they absolutely have to be connected to the same one to work. All right, it's looking good. It's stitching out really nicely.
That machine is quiet, Emily.
Yeah, it actually seems pretty loud here. Oh, the thread just broke. Just when I said, oh, it's stitching out so nicely. It actually is like, I don't know what it did. Like came off the needle, but it like got frayed, you know, how it gets itself all weird. Okay, so again, we're going to go back a few stitches. I'm going to lower this. It is pretty quiet. I'd say, I mean, it seems loud to me, but I'm right next to it. So I feel like as if it doesn't seem loud to you, that's great. Because I hate for it to seem like so loud and clunky through the screen. I see someone asking about upgrades to the 5200, and I believe there is not an upgrade for that one.
Yeah, I can't answer that either. I don't. There are so many different machines that Brother has, and I just, until I know for sure, I don't want to say yes. I don't think there is either.
That is the one I have, and which, you know, is my favorite machine to use, but I don't think there's any way to do that at this point.
And anyone else that has questions about your machines, the best thing to do is call your Brother dealer, because they'll know and they'll have it if you need it.
Yes, way more. All right, I'm hesitant to say that it's looking really good because last time I did that, we had a little problem, but it is looking good as it goes across there. So I know with the sticky stabilizers, sometimes that going through the extra layer and picking up some of the adhesive does cause a few more embroidery problems than not, but overall, I still think it's worth it because I love how easy it is just to slap my fabric on there and have it go, of course. Yeah. So I'm assuming because it's not catching on anything, you can see what's happening. It's like fraying out.
Oh, yeah. It could be the thread too, if it's older. While you're fixing that, I'm going to let you just keep doing that. But I want to share, because somebody was talking about the ladybugs. So while you're rethreading and getting that rolling, I got to share with you because I saw, I'm not sure who said it. So hold on, let me just fix my mic on this one. All right, can you hear me okay, Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, it's my blinky camera, but I was scrolling through here and someone said something about the ladybugs and it's right here. And there it is. So same thing. Oh, those are so cute.
There are so many cute files on there.
That would look great in there. And again, click create. And I don't have my machine set up right now because it's not plugged in. I've got the same one you have. that's connected to it.
Yes.
So I have to set mine up. But anyways, this was the ladybug one that she was talking about.
It's so cute. I can't believe how many cute designs there are on there. And they are constantly releasing new ones. So sometimes I'll forget for a couple weeks. And then when I go and look, I'm like, oh, there's like 10 new designs that I love. So yeah, that's what it is.
Julie wants to know, did you tell at the beginning what size you cut the material?
I did. So I cut 2 6.5-inch squares, one of this cotton fabric and one of the vinyl fake leather thing. So, yeah, so 6.5 inches, which will make, and those of you who missed the beginning, this is what we're making, a little tray that is cute and has the embroidery in the middle. And this was one of the other succulents that I could have chosen. But there are 3 different ones. So I'm making a tray with different succulents, and then it just has the plain fabric on the bottom. You could also do it where the vinyl's on the outside, but I wanted to be able to see the design and not have to like flip it over to see it. So this is what we're making. And then, and here is, I think I like this one maybe the best. Here's another little succulent design that was on there. But any like floral, or you could put like an initial or a monogram in there, would also be super cute on here, I think.
Esther wants to know, can you use a vinyl or leather needle? Yeah, you totally could, Esther.
Yeah. Yep. And I often do like just pull out any needle for embroidery. I don't always switch it over to a specific embroidery needle. So, all right, you can see it's working its way around the design. This is the biggest, this color is the biggest chunk, and then the other 2 are just a little bit more finishing. Of course, the design I wanted to do, I was like, 17 minutes. It's a little bit long to sit here and watch an embroider, but all the cute ones, none of the cute ones are really, really fast. So we'll just have to enjoy it, and you can see about, it's a good time to ask questions. Also, if you're having trouble, and I'm not going to do it because for the sake of time, but if I was having a lot of trouble with my thread breaking, I would slow down the embroidery, and you can easily do that in the menu, and you can slow down the stitches, and that does help with the breaking as well, because some of it is the friction, and the faster it's going, the more friction it's creating. And so slowing down the stitches, if time is not a factor, is definitely a way to get it to avoid breaking when you're using some of these more specialty fabrics, especially too. And like Angela said, my thread could be old. I have had some of these threads since I started doing embroidery like 5 years ago. So none of this, every once in a while I'll buy like a specialty color, but I'm definitely getting to the end of the lifespan of some of these threads. I don't know. What would you guys say is the life of an embroidery thread before it starts to get?
It really depends. And there's other factors that can cause the thread to do that too. One, it could be the needle, although you just put a new one in. But sometimes I've had that. Even when I put a new needle in, I remember having to send Wynn to the store because I was trying to embroider this big project on mesh, and my thread kept shredding. It was driving me nuts.
Yes.
So I ended up having to get a new needle, and it actually worked great. So that was one big thing.
Yeah.
So you just never know.
Never know. I know. It's one of those things that's problem shooting, but I definitely would slow it down. It's on its fastest speed. So obviously,
Hey, Diane, no, you can't. You cannot download Artspira to your computer. It goes directly from your phone or tablet to your machine. And that's when Brother came out with all the machines that are Wi-Fi. So, as technology changes, everything keeps changing. And sometimes you can't go back and change things that weren't accessible like that. So that's why.
Yeah, you can put it on any sort of tablet or any sort of phone, but it doesn't work on the computer.
Oh, Patty, that's an interesting fact you got going on there. And Jenny, great to see you.
Oh my goodness, 10%. Well, maybe I got a bad one here.
Yeah, it's funny about thread because I like to have all my thread on my wall, but
Yeah.
some of those spools are really old and I just use them for decoration. I absolutely would never put them in the machine. They have more dust on them than a dust bunny.
Absolutely. I know. My mom has like a sort of a canning jar full of antique threads in her sewing room, and it's really pretty, but you definitely would not want to use those.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Patty, yes, this was the other one. And this happened a long time. I think it was back in the first Dream Machine days. I kept having threads just shred. I could not figure out what was going on. And I talked to somebody, a brother, and they said, hey, you know what? Did you ever break a needle really bad? And I was like, oh, yeah. And they said, you might have nicked your bobbin case. And I thought, I'd never heard that in my whole life. So I ordered a new bobbin case. They're not that expensive.
Yeah.
Or they're reasonable. I put it in and never shredded another thread. So Patty, I'm glad you mentioned that. And this is part of just also maintaining your brother machine. So I try to bring mine in every year.
Is this
that part?
Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of the machines now are coming with an extra. So I should actually try that maybe because I do have a couple spare ones that come with my machines. So.
And also, Emily, depending on what machine you have, one of those is usually specific to it feels like Monday. I can't think of the word. The decorative threads that you put in the bobbin.
Oh, yes. The bobbin stitching and whatever. Decorative bobbin stitching or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's a word for it. All right, brother sewing family, help us out. What is it called?
Oh, but it's turning out so cute. Okay, so that's one color. And it looks great. So now the next one is the other green.
Thanks, Esther. Bobbin work.
Oh, bobbin work, yes.
Sharon, what would we do without you guys? I don't know.
Too many thoughts in my brain right now. I definitely can't get that out. Trying to worry about the machine and the needle and the thread breaking and see if I can.
Oh, Debbie, that's a good question. How many stitches should you go between servicing? Now, that's a good question because I just have, like, on the calendar once a year, I just have them serviced if I've been using them a lot. Now, if it's a type of year where I'm just doing videos and I'm not doing a lot of sewing on that one, I have a few machines here, but there's a couple that I use all the time.
Right.
And those are the ones I have serviced.
Yes.
Just to get them cleaned up.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I don't know that exact question either. I bet your brother dealer would have a better answer for that specifically. Well, in some machines too, if you use them just for sewing and not for embroidery, it's gonna, be the whole thing's gonna be a different situation. So I definitely have machines I use more than others, and not all of them do I take in every year because some of them only get used for a couple like specialty projects.
Oh, I love this. Have you ever done a video on bobbin work? Well, I have not, but I hosted one with Joanne Banco, and she did I think 2 great ones on bobbin work. So
she's if you go back to mind when I think of that technique.
Yeah.
Because she's talked about it a lot.
So you might want to go back through the brother videos, and they should have titles in them so you could search for bobbin work and then search that and Joanne Banco, and you'll probably find it in the brother feed.
Oh, fine. Yeah. All right. So this is putting the darker green in there. And then, it's caught. It's caught. I saw it straining up here. I don't know if we caught it.
Oh, that's probably what's causing it to. Just take your spool cap off.
It's wrapping around down here on this end, though.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird. Like it's also wrapping. It's wrapping here against.
Oh.
This. I know. I don't even understand. I need new thread. I don't know. Although I think they all kind of come on spools that look like that. So. Oh, all right. I think I saved it. It's coming again. I got to keep my eye on the thread. It's how it
You know what works really good for that, by the way, is the netting. I just pulled out 4 of those from
Like this?
the surgery. Yeah. When you put that on, it only allows the thread to come out the top.
Ah, all right. If
And
it
also
breaks again, I'll put it on.
yeah, and also I don't usually use a spool cap on that machine just because it will just push up to the end, and that's kind of big. So just that's another thing too.
All right. I've gone back and forth with using the spool cap and not using it, but it's doing good. It's doing good.
That's everyone's like, hey, at least we get to see it.
I know you guys are good troubleshooters here. I know my spool is on there backwards, but for me, it works better because it's coming off the bigger end. It seems to get caught less than coming off the smaller end. But obviously, everyone is different. Every spool is different. Every machine is different with how it likes to take the spool off or the thread off. So I'm going to try the nets if it breaks again because I have those right here.
You're like 90% of the way there.
Oh yeah, we're almost done. It has like another minute of this green, and then we just have 3 minutes of the yellow or the gold. We have one more color, and then we're finished. So it's almost done.
That's such a cute project too. You were mentioning all the different things to do with those little cases. I've got them all over my studio. I have some friends in the Wolf Pack that send me little gifts, and that was one that they have my name on them, my husband's name on them. I love those, and then they lay flat when you don't want them. Although I don't think I've ever not used mine. I use them for pins or scraps, or if you saw the stuff that I'm looking at, you would know.
So this one I did tack, and I'll show you how I tacked it when we get to that part. I did tack this one up so this one cannot fold flat, but I have definitely made the flat ones too, and they're so cute too because you can obviously then pack them away, especially if they're seasonal. I love to be able to put things away like that. So close. The green is looking really pretty. So I also did not use the exact greens that this called for. I just picked 2. I saw that it needed 2 green colors, and I used 2 colors that I had used in the other dishes. So you might recognize these colors. They're looking very similar, but I like that it's like that. So just a little coordination. Embroidery is not always fast. That is definitely for sure.
No.
But this color made it through fairly easily. So maybe it was the other thread. I don't know. I should save this conversation though. Next time I have threads breaking, there were so many good tips in here that I need to remember. Like the bobbin case or things like that. That is not always first on my radar of thinking about things. Okay, we are down to the last one. And how about I try with all right, we'll take the spool cap off. We'll put on, so you have to probably put the thread through the net, right? And then.
Yeah, so you put it out in front of you. I'll show you. Yeah, like that. And then, but put it on the machine facing that way.
Yeah.
Usually I'll put it on like a freestanding spool.
Yes. All right, we'll see if this.
Oh, Mary, I love that. Every time I see a fish fabric or embroidery, I think of you. Well, Mary, we have a lot in common because yes, every time I see that, I just want to use it.
I'm going to put it on this way without the thread cap because actually it's with that netting is too tight. It's like not
pulling, or it's pulling too tight.
Yeah.
So while she's embroidering, by the way, some of you asked how to find the design from Artspira on the Luminaire. So while she's starting to embroider, I'll set up my camera over there and show you, because as I've been chatting with you, I just set up my Luminaire onto Artspira. That's how fast you can do it. And if I can get a camera all the way over there, I'll show you.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we just have a couple minutes on this, so it's perfect timing. You do that while this finishes up, and then we can continue on with this project.
Sounds good. I just need a second because I don't have a camera over on the embroidery machine. Emily.
Yes.
I just had my nieces here and they were all doing sketches and scanning them into the Luminaire.
Yes.
And oh my goodness gracious.
So many cute things. Fun. Yes.
All right, I think usually I always have these cameras just sitting around, but I've been working on a different project and unplugged them all. How dare I do that? All right. So while that's embroidering, Emily, if it's all right with you, I'll show them how to
of course
get this done. All right. So some of you are asking how to get the Artspira app connected to Luminaire. I see Pat got it. It's super easy. So I'll just show you up right here while she's embroidering, and I'll keep you on here so they can keep watching what you're doing. How's that?
Perfect.
All right. So take you here first. And if you can't hear me or something, just let me know. I can never tell when I'm over here by myself. All right, so in the Artspira app, Blinky's behaving. Let's go down to that one design again that you guys liked. Super cute. It'd be great for Emily's project here.
Yes.
Create. And I've already hooked up my machine. Sorry about the blinky. Click transfer. Okay. And it's there. Data transfer is complete. I was hoping it would say that. It was a live post, so you never know. So let me just go over to the, this camera, sorry. And I think you can see it from there.
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, so if you go into embroidery, you look down here at the pocket.
Yeah, look for the pocket.
And then you can see all the fun stuff I've been playing with. Oh, there's the kids' sketches. You'll see a cloud with a pocket.
Yep.
Click on that. And there is the design. I can do exactly what she just did. You can make it a little bit bigger, not much, but it will adjust just a little bit. Yeah. I can go in and change the colors if I want. So you can use it just like a regular embroidery design. And that's how easy it was. 3 seconds. Was that even 3 seconds?
I don't know. So cute though. So cute.
Yeah. So that's it for the Artspira app.
Yeah.
Super easy to do.
Look for the cloud in the pocket. The pocket cloud is the key there.
The pocket cloud. And it's under embroidery. And I think some people go to My Design Center first. If you have the Luminaire, it's under embroidery.
Okay, so this one is finished. I'm going to remove it, and we'll take a look at the tear away, rip away situation in a minute. But I'm going to just first switch this back over so we can finish the sewing portion of this project. Okay, and this machine has a little guard here for the embroidery unit connection, which is great. It keeps like dust and other things out of there. So I'm loving that. And then I can put this on, and then we're going to open this up, grab my little, where's my little circle spool? Oh, I had that, still had that out. Okay, so we'll remove this foot, and make sure you turn your machine off when you remove the embroidery unit, because otherwise your machine will tell you to turn it off and start over. It doesn't like when you have done it with the machine on. I know, because I've done that many times and it's not a favorite. Okay, so we're going to put that on tightly. I'm going to remove this embroidery thread and grab, let's see, maybe a navy blue, so that when we top stitch on there. Okay, and I'm just going to leave the same thread in the bobbin. That should be all good. Okay, so now we can have this all back on, and let's take a look at this. Okay, so there is the finished design. I think it turned out really well.
Oh, cute.
And the back is really nice too. And then let's see, I think, yep, just tears right away. So super easy. And sometimes if I'm trying to conserve on this stabilizer, I will like do one up here and one down here, because you really can get more out of this if you tear it carefully. But I did that right in the middle, of course. So, okay, so now we have our design on the fabric, and the next thing we're going to do is place the two fabrics right sides together and sew them. I'm going to put a couple of clips on here to hold it in place. Sew them together. It's like my fabric is slightly larger than the vinyl, so I'll sew on the vinyl side so that I make sure touch all of it. And also, if you're having trouble sewing vinyl, well, maybe for the top stitching I might use it, but a non-slip foot is also a huge help. All right, we're going to sew around this. Hopefully this is all good. We're going to sew around this maybe with like just a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm not going to use a big seam allowance. And I'm going to use an opening. I'm going to leave an opening to be able to turn this right side out. Okay. I'm going to sew down, pivot at the corners, so we have as much as possible nice sharp corners. And you can use any two fabrics. So again, if you chose to not use like the vinyl or a pleather as one of your fabrics and just use 2 pieces of cotton, I would iron or fuse a piece of interfacing to one of those pieces of fabric before I sewed it into the tray, to make sure that the tray has enough structure. Because if you just use 2 pieces of cotton, it's definitely not going to have a lot of structure. But in this case, the vinyl gives it all the structure that it needs, so I definitely do not need to add the interfacing. And because of just how thick this fabric is, I want to make sure I leave an opening plenty big to be able to turn it through, and then we'll top stitch after that. Okay, so now I'm going to clip the corners so that they hopefully can be as cornery as possible.
I like, is that new? That's a new word for the day, Emily. As cornery.
As pointy as possible. I find with this, with thicker fabric like this, they're not going to come to perfect points by any means, but we can get it to be a little bit sharper on there. Okay, so now we're going to turn this right side out. The rest of this project is super quick. The longest is obviously the embroidery. Try to turn this right side out with the fabric.
Just a few more questions about the Art Spirit app. Can you, after it's on a machine, download to a USB stick? No. But I just checked on my Luminaire to double check that hasn't changed. You can save it to your machine You just can't take it off your machine and bring it someplace else. So it is
Yeah.
literally from your phone or tablet to your machine. But once it's on your machine, you can save it there. So say you're trying to download like 4 different designs. You can only do one at a time, but you can save them to your machine.
Yes. And I think that's because it's like specially formatted for your machine when it's transferred. So you couldn't like, move it to a different one.
Emily, that's turning out so cute.
Yes, I'm using my little scissors to try and poke out the corners. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so the seam allowance is thickish in here, right? Because I have that sort of 1/4 inch of vinyl and you can feel it and it's folded over, but we're going to top stitch that. So I'm just going to go around here and put a couple clips. And as I'm doing that, I'm making sure that I'm folding that seam allowance over. I can feel that it's folded over. It stays all pretty nicely just because it has such nice structure. And then here we have, oh, that is not this one. Okay, there we go. It's like folded over and not poked out all the way. This is where we left the opening. So I do want to make sure that I fold over the seam allowance. See if I can, okay, so fold over the vinyl, fold over the fabric, and then use my clips to hold it. This is a great use for clips because pins are pretty hard to get through and then, back out and get them to all lay nicely. Okay, so now it's closed shut. It looks good on both sides. And we're going to go ahead and top stitch very closely to the side. Now this is where I'm just going to pop on my non-slip vinyl foot because I am going to be stitching on the top side, which is sort of that sticky vinyl. And this foot is magic to help any sort of difficult fabrics slide through. So if you're I use it for way more than just vinyl because it's so helpful. All right, so I'm going to start here and we're just going to use a straight stitch. And again, I'm stitching pretty close to the edge of the fabric. I don't know, an 1/8 inch, or I don't have an exact measurement. You can also, when you're top stitching, if you want, you can lengthen your stitch. Sometimes I lengthen my top stitch to a length of 3 from the 2.5. We're going to do the same thing where we go to the corners and then lift and pivot. I think the vinyl foot was a really good call here because it is, this is pretty sticky here on the top. And you may have noticed I left the same the embroidery needle. I did not change that needle. So I'm sewing with it. It's sewing great on this fabric. So we're going to just keep what works going.
Hey, Emily, would you say that vinyl that you're using, is it super soft or is it really stiff?
It's pretty stiff.
Okay.
It's like, my friend used it for a bar stool. Like,
well, that could still be soft. It just depends, right?
Yeah. And then she was like, I don't need this. What? Here, you can use it. And at first I was like, well, I don't need it either. But then I've used it to make so many cute projects. So, okay, yeah, I'll take it. So can you see, it's a little hard with stitching, but look at it, it's top stitched really nicely on there.
Cute.
Yeah, so that is easy. And then we have the back. Okay, so now here is where we're going to take this little sticky right here, and we're going to use it to stitch a perfect 3-inch square in the center. I need my ruler. In the center of the dish. But I have to center this. And then we just stitch around it. This was my little sewing hack when I was doing it the first time. All right, so 1, and let's see, just under 1.5. Okay, that one's pretty centered. Now the top and the bottom. I gotta go down a little bit. Okay, and then this will be the stitching in the bottom of the bowl. Okay, so it's about 1.5 on all sides, just under. If you're using my 6.5 inch original piece that we started with. Okay, so now okay, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna stick it on this side because I want my bobbin thread to be showing. I don't want it. I did that wrong. The bobbin thread is light color. It needs to be on the other side. Okay, just move it slightly over. Measure. Okay, so now keeping the vinyl foot on, we're going to just stitch around this. This will create the bottom of the bowl or the tray. Goodness, I still can't decide what it is. But this just provides, if you don't want to do this, you can easily just draw a square. When I did this last time, I was like, oh, it's so easy and it sticks. So I can just leave it right there. But maybe I'm way more excited about this than anyone else. So do not have to sew your square this way. Okay. So then we can take this off and we have the square sewn around there. And on this side, which was a good choice that I flipped it because this side, the fabric or the thread is, you can't see it on there at all. And the blue is on the top. So both sides, the thread is hidden. Okay, so now you're going to take the corners and pinch them and then put clips. And I'm just gonna pin and clip one at a time so that you can see how we're gonna do this. Okay, so I'm gonna set on the zigzag and then I'm gonna go in here to the width and put it at the widest it goes, which on this one is 7 millimeters. If yours doesn't go that wide, you can definitely be changing that. And then I'm going to change the length to smaller so the stitches are as close, super close together, because we just want to make a wide tacking stitch. Okay, that is the goal on this, is a wide tacking stitch. So on here, you're going to have to remove your clip when you get it in here. Push this back just a little bit. Okay, and I want to make my stitching about 1 inch from the tip. Okay, that is what I've determined will make the tray. And then you're going to set your needle on the outside of the fabric, and then it's going to go in and tack it on the inside of the fabric. Sorry. And then we'll just go back and forth. And if it starts moving forward too much, you can use the reverse button, but because we set the length really close together, it should also tack that. All right, didn't have to lower the presser foot. So we want to go back 5 or 6 times, and we really just essentially want it to sew in place. Okay, then we're going to cut that, and you can see, let's see if it can, the tacking stitch there. It's having trouble focusing. Okay, and then you, of course, clip the threads and you're good to go. So we're going to do that 3 more times, and you can see how it makes a nice corner on the bowl. We're just going to work our way around doing that, making sure that the edges of the fabric are lined up. And then I'm just using my measuring tape to make sure I have sort of that inch front to back. Lower the presser foot. The vinyl's so fat in there, I don't think I need to lower my presser foot because I can't see that it's up. Okay, there's number 2. Clip the threads. Number 3. And then that stitching on the bottom sort of gives it a little bit of structure and a little bit of a defined shape where we stitched around that 3-inch square. That sort of just defines the shape of the bottom of the bowl. And that's why we do that. Because when we're pressing it out like this, then that is just going to be that bottom square. I like to sew them all going the same direction so that I can visualize how it's supposed to be. Sometimes when something gets turned around, I'm like, wait, that's not right, even though it's exactly the same thing, but I can't envision it. All right, we're going to cut the threads on here. And we have a finished little bowl.
So
great. Oh, you know what I did? I did this on the first one too. Look at, I put my design here on the bottom. Actually, the first one I sewed, I did this and I had to pick out all the stitches. Now that's the only step you have to pick out, and then you just reverse it the other way. So I was concentrating too hard on other things. So it still looks cute, but my design.
I like it. I like it. I actually, it's kind of like the little surprise element on the back side.
Yeah, look, it's on there. Okay. Well, I better call it a day before I make too many other.
This is so funny. Before you said that, Sharon was saying backwards, and I could not figure out what she was talking about. Sharon,
yes,
I was like,
I see that now.
What? And Amanda's like, could you do it with the embroidery on the inside?
Oh, like this. Yes. This is what I meant to do. Okay. Yep. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't even looking over at the comments. I was just sewing away over here.
Well, I was, and I didn't know what Sharon was talking about. I was like so mesmerized by that cool foot everybody's talking about. Actually, I lied. I was sitting here playing on the Art Spirit app.
Yeah, that's okay. We forgive you. That's way more fun. Way more fun than watching me sew.
Oh gosh.
Well, there you go. Get it.
Super cute, Emily. Super cute. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. So I probably will take these tacks out, and they're really quick to take out because it's just such a, wide little thing. So I'll just flip that out, flip it the other way, and then refinish that. It'll take me 2 minutes, but you could do it this way. And honestly, if I did it without embroidery, I would probably put the pleather on the outside and the fabric on the inside if I wasn't adding embroidery. I can't just turn it inside out like this. Well, I suppose you could, but then it has these interesting little points inside.
Hey, that's a whole different project. Perfect.
We got a whole other project here. Yeah. So
Darlene says, at least you know that they were all paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. They are.
Oh my gosh.
Way more than I was, apparently.
Do you want to come back to us on your other camera?
Yes.
All right. So while she flips back there, I saw some people asking more about the Art Spirit app. So we will make sure that we show more of that during these lives. And I know I have a live session coming up, I want to say next Thursday for a Mother's Day gift. Maybe I'll change mine around and add some Art Spirit for you on that because it's a lot of fun. Emily, this is a great way to show how easy it is to use and what a cute project for that.
So let's look at these two and see how they are done. Because these are the good ones. But no, I'm excited. This is actually a really cute embroidery design, and I just need to flip it over. And 2 minutes later, I'll have a correct dish. And honestly, I can't even believe I did that because that is how I did when I was creating this project. And if you're not sure about the steps, you can either rewatch the video or you can search fabric tray on lifesewsavory.com and you'll find the step out tutorial for this exact project. And the first time when I was sewing it, yes, I totally sewed it just like this, inside out. So, yeah.
I love it. Everybody says super cute. They don't care.
Yeah, I could. Someone was saying, Debbie said to flatten the corners. I probably could tack that, but
now you have a bowl.
I'm going to flip it so that it's matching. but you could create a different one where if you sewed along there, then it would be flat. You could probably make a much bigger one this way and it would look cute too, actually, like more of a bowl.
Oh, yeah. Somebody earlier was asking about that. I'm just going to like look up here. I think somebody was asking about that, if they could make it bigger. Of course, you can make it any size you want, really.
Yeah, just more, I would definitely more interfacing. The bigger you get, or, stiffer or like foam, fusible foam, which is something I work with and love all the time, but just something to give it structure so that it's not like a saggy tray. But yeah,
right.
So many fun things.
And share your projects using hashtag Brother Sews so we can all see them, Brother can see them. Whichever way you make these, we should name them. We'll call them the tray and what should we call the other one? Tray and bowl?
Tray and bowl. Oh. I will say it was really fun. Several people tagged me after they made the bunny bags that I sewed in April. Tagged me on social media, so I got to see a lot of different versions. Or people's like different takes on those bunny bags. So that was really fun. So yes, tag me, tag Brother Sews. It's really fun to be able to see what you're inspired to do and how you make your own take on it.
I love it. Amanda says a bigger bowl, you could have silverware. Oh, there's so many ideas. So be sure to tag so we can see what's happening. And also don't forget, if you're using the Art Spirit app, there's a new group. I'll drop the link real quick here at the end before we drop off here. It's a new private group.
So fun.
Here you go. I got the right one here. And I just dropped that into, oops, I added a plus sign. You don't need a plus sign. There you go.
Don't do a plus sign, yeah.
All right, so then I will see you all on Thursday because Brother starting now is Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. Mark your calendar. Who's Thursday? Oh, Joanne Banco with the new free design of the month. So yes, Emily, great show. Love it. And Brother, thank you for letting us take over your page.
Thank you. See you guys next month.